What's up, Internet? You're tuning in episode 110 of Nintendo Noise, Split Screen Games Weekly Nintendo Podcast. I'm your host, Pete and Bessie, joined as always by my very good friend and co-host, Miss Sierra Plus Ultra.
Sup?
Yo, what's going on, Sierra?
Nothing much. Just
We have,
enjoying a day off. I don't know if oh wait, did you get today off from work? From
uh, you know,
working?
I did do a little bit of work today, but it involved
Okay.
spending my time with some adorable puppies, so not a bad day.
Not a bad day, not a bad work day at all.
No,
Beautiful.
very therapeutic actually.
Yeah.
So I'm celebrating the holiday in my own way, but I'm glad you
Right.
got the day
Right.
off.
Yes, so needed. I had a lot to do, but it was like nice to have that time like carved out to get a lot of stuff
Oh,
done that
and
is otherwise hard on like an 8-hour workday.
I'm glad you had that time because I'm putting you to work today because
Yes.
Steve's not
Yes.
here. You got to carry the load today, and we're debuting a brand new trivia game because here's the deal, right? We had a very special birthday a couple weeks ago, and egg on our face. We were busy. There was news. We didn't get to celebrate. Happy belated birthday to our very good friend, the Nintendo 64, 27 years young today. Round of
Yes.
applause, everybody.
Yes.
So, two weeks ago, June 23rd, right? So, and change. So we're not too late, but we're late enough. Late. So I'm sorry. June was in Japan. In the States, we had it on September 29th. So
Yeah.
not too late, but late enough that I felt bad. We want to give a whole dedicated episode to, of course, the first 3D Nintendo console, the last cartridge-based console for a while before we rounded back with the Nintendo Switch. So
Yes.
we're gonna talk about our some of our favorite memories with the N64, celebrated a little bit, wax nostalgic, and then in the back half of the show, I have prepared a little trivia game, a new top 10 trivia game that I need a fun name for. So when we get there and I explain the rules, everybody at home, if you have an idea for this new game, y'all nailed it when we asked for a rebrand of the question block on the Steam Deck podcast. So show up for me here and help me with a good name for this show. But it's a new top 10 trivia game, and Sierra's going to be our first contestant and the first one to put hopefully a nice big fat W on the board and embarrass Steve so that when he comes back, he can have to live up to your excellence.
I can't make any promises, but I can promise you all will be very entertaining.
I believe in you, and I think no
I
matter
know,
what,
I
we're going to give him a
appreciate
good
that.
show. So, but
Yeah.
before we get into all that, we'll just let's look back on the N64 because I know both of us owned an N64. Both of us have a lot of warm, fuzzy memories at the N64. But let's start with, when did you get your N64? I was kind of a late adopter. I was like a PlayStation kid beforehand, and I got the N64 like closer to the end of its life cycle. So like for you guys, was that like the primary home console in your household?
Yes, I actually was gonna say, I don't remember when we got it. It was always just
It's
there.
always been
So,
there.
yeah, it's always just been there.
I was
Like,
born with a
you have
controller in my hand.
kind of, yeah, like, and same with the Game Boy, like a lot of games and consoles in my formative, like, baby years, I just remember having. Cause shout out to my dad, he just believed we should have those things. Um, yeah, I don't remember, like, when we got it, but I remember being, like, 2nd grade, like, grade school, and playing it before school in the mornings,
So is that
all the
like your
time.
earliest memory with it? Is like, was it you and your siblings?
Oh, yeah, 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 just, like, before the bus came. I don't know how I had carved out this time for myself as a kid, because I had to be, like, 7:30. Kid energy is something else. I was
Right?
up and at 'em to game.
I was
Like,
doing that shit too. Like, I'd be waking up at like 6 a.m. so I could watch Pokemon and Monster Rancher and Beyblades and then like get in some Pokemon time before it was time to head to school.
my poor parents, like, probably barely awake, like, on their still on, like, their first couple sips of coffee. I'm like, "Mom, I wanna play Pokemon Stadium." Like,
That's
uh,
love though.
yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Do you remember what color yours was?
I actually still have mine. I had the standard black
Oh,
one.
okay.
I wish I had one of the fun, color ones, especially since
That's
I
what
was a
we
late
had.
adopter. You'd think maybe I would have been able to get one of the funky ones, but I
Right.
I always remember I forget what they're called, like Funtastic or whatever. Those were cool, but they had that Pikachu one too, where it was like,
Yes.
he was like on the side, and
Yeah, I
like
remember that.
you turn it on
Like,
and I think his
that cutout thing, I don't know.
yeah,
You just, like,
yeah.
get it.
And I feel like
Yeah,
maybe the cheeks lit up. I don't totally remember,
right.
but yeah,
Something fun like that.
that was another cool one. But I did have one of the clear purple controllers. I remember like my set came with
Sick.
one of those and then one of the gray ones, which may have just been the standard, I guess. But I remember that being like my player one controller that I always
Okay.
used.
We had the green one, which came with the matching controller,
Oh, that's so
and
sick. That's like
yeah,
the coolest one.
we had the green one, yeah, it was so good, and, I forget we had, like, one other one, it was probably black or gray, but, really, we should have had 4. I remember maybe at some point we had 4, but we definitely had 2, and yeah, we definitely had the green console.
Yeah,
It wasn't
I feel like I feel like I never ended up having more than 2 or maybe 3 on it because I feel like whenever I was playing a multiplayer game, like, I would just have a friend bring theirs because like, everybody else already had one. I was, like, the last one to get an N64, you know?
right.
And whenever I'd go to somebody else's house, they usually had 4 controllers.
Okay, so that's good. So when everyone
Yeah.
came to you, it was like BYOC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is good, because then you don't have to worry about. 'Cause, like, I don't know if you experienced this much, but I definitely experienced a lot of little boy rage where it's, like, these kids that would be chucking their controllers, and I'm like, I was never that kid, like, I'm not gonna say I never lost my temper, but I would never, like,
Yeah,
bang I had a friend that was, like, every controller he had, all the joysticks were broken, and it's like, he was always throwing these temper tantrums when he got his ass kicked.
right.
Real sore
Just
loser.
like
It's like, "You bring your own controller, bro, you can't be
yeah.
screwing around with mine."
Hey, man, I hear it's better if you, like, just use your own. Like, it increases your chances of winning. You should just use
It reacts to you?
Yeah.
It's funny,
Oh.
like, I do, like, low key feel that way a little bit about GameCube controllers because like, I still
Yeah.
have my OG GameCube controller that I use for
Oh,
Smash, and
wow.
I'm like, "Yo, man, I mean, there's a certain amount of the stick that's been worn down over the last 20 years?"
I'm glad that it still is that good because I have a controller that I use for Smash, and I think it's going. Or either that or I suck. But either way. I don't know, just, like, the stick just I'm outing myself, skill issue, like, yeah, I've experienced actually some funky issues with mine and the joystick, but,
Well,
I wish I still had yeah?
remind me when we get together for dinner, in an undisclosed amount of time. I have a set of replacement sticks, and I think have another like extra one with a screwdriver. I can give you if you want to try to
Oh,
replace it. That
cool.
might help you out.
Yeah, yeah, I'll toss you a couple bucks for it or whatever you need,
No,
yeah,
you just
that'd be
take it.
great.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
I got
That
an extra
sounds
one.
good.
Um, but yeah, I had to replace. I had like a what was my player two GameCube controller, and I had to replace that joystick because the nub just was gone. It was like
Wow.
it was the one I had let everybody else use. And yeah, it
Damn.
got worn down
What
over
were they
time.
doing? Just like
I guess, right? Yeah. Well, lots of Mario Party and lots of Smash, so
Yeah,
it
yeah.
it put in its 1,000+ hours or whatever. So fair
Right.
enough. Still works otherwise, but yeah, one of the memories that I always think of, when I was putting this together, and I was like, oh, like I imagine Sierra will have some to share. Is like you've shared the anecdote with your mother with Pokemon Snap a couple times, which I think is just such a great story that she got like sucked into that game, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah. Oh,
like,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, go ahead, tell the story for people who might not know.
Oh, yeah, no, my mom, like, she played Snap as much as we did and ended up beating it before any of us could. Like, I was just like I walked out one morning and I'm like I, like, see her playing and it's on, and I see, like, that space level and a bubble with Mew inside, and I'm like, "You finished the game?" And she's like, "Oh, yeah." Like, super casual.
It's so funny. I feel like that was like such a like boomer parent experience At least for, some folks. Because like, my dad had a moment like that where there was a period where my PlayStation was in his room, because he would, like, let me play it as long as I wanted until bedtime, and then he was up, like,
Right.
he was playing Gex 2 specifically, and he got deep in that game and was, like, addicted to it, and when he finally beat it, he was like, "I gotta put this down." He's like, "The pull is too strong."
Oh my god, that was wow, that was a pivotal moment in his gamer life. Like, I love that, like, he was playing Gex 2, that was, like, late night dad hours on the Nintendo 64, it was Gex 2, that's so perfect. And then he was like, "This is I'm getting sucked in, like, this is
Yeah,
just
he's
this
like,
is
"I
too
can't commit
much.
to this life." It's like, "I can only play
Yeah,
games with my son from now on."
this is dangerous." I feel myself becoming a new man.
He's like, "You take the console back in your room," you know? Like
There's a dark energy, and I don't think I can brace it.
I'm not strong enough. So, like, what were the, like, favorite games for you? Like, what were you and your siblings, like, go-to games?
Well, I will not tell a lie, Pete. It was a Pokemon machine, but I but Donkey Kong Country is like, oh, so classic. A
Yeah,
game I did not get
that was
very
your
far
3D
in.
platformer?
Yes. A game I did not get very far in because I, like, was a quitter as a child, but
Yo, you gotta go 100% that on stream now.
you are so right. I should go back and avenge or I don't know. I should just go fucking say suck it to my, like, seven-year-old self and beat
Do it,
it.
100% it now, that would be such a
Yeah,
flex.
probably could. I mean, I beat Sunshine, so
Yeah, you can definitely do it.
yeah.
You beat harder
Alright.
games.
Yeah.
That's a game that, like, I have a distinct memory of too, because I was like I remember going, with my dad to a Best Buy because I wanted to pick it up, and, like, they had not had it at Toys R Us or something like that, and I remember we went to a second location, and we get there, and it cost extra because it had that RAM pack, the memory
Ah,
expansion,
yes.
and,
Yes.
the expansion pack, right? And, yeah, and my dad was like, he's like, "This game is, 10, $20 more or whatever." That I'm like, "Dad, it's got the expansion pack. You got no idea. Like, it's gonna be it's so graphically impressive. It's gonna be worth every penny." And he's like, "All right, you know what? All right, great, let's do it." And we go home and boot it up, and he's like, you're telling me you can see the difference. I'll take your word for it." And I was like, "Yeah, no, come on, Dad. This is so much better. This expansion pack is changing my young life here."
Dad, you made the right decision. Come on, we gotta be a forward-thinking family.
Exactly. Yeah, to his credit, it was very easy to convince him.
Mm.
But yeah, I that was definitely a favorite of mine too. I played a lot of the Pokemon stuff for sure, like Stadium and Snap were games that were like definitely reasons I wanted to get the console, I was jealous of
Yeah.
playing those at other friends' houses and not having access to them. We talked about it in our top 100 Nintendo episode, but Hey You Pikachu was one that I remember being like very excited for based on the commercials, and then getting it and being
Yes.
like, "Damn, I don't know about this one." Like this might be the first time I was
I know,
really
just like,
disappointed.
"Pikachu! Pikachu!"
Yeah,
Like, trying
just just screaming into this microphone, begging to get him to eat an apple or whatever the
Drop
hell.
the Oh my god. I never forgot we were gonna record music with the Hey You Pikachu microphone, but we
Oh
gotta
my
find it.
god, yeah, we got to
I
do
never
that.
forgot.
We gotta do that. That's another one
Yeah.
I would pay good money for a stream of that.
Hell yeah.
We gotta set that up. I think I still have the microphone, so, I think I
Hey,
got it with
yo.
with my name written on it. So,
Aw, where I thought it was like a little pencil thing with, like, the bulb on the top.
yeah, it was like a little, like, stick mic with a soft foam top, and then it, like, plugged into a, like, small, like, gray
Oh,
rectangle, basically, and then that
I
had
remember now.
it was like a wire off that, and then another wire off that plugged into the controller port, and I think you put it in, like, the 4th slot or whatever so that you could
Okay.
or no. Hmm. Yeah, I think you did have to plug it in because I remember it had a connector that you would attach to the controller so that you could aim the microphone towards you, I think.
Right.
And then you
Yeah.
could press the button and talk into it ostensibly, but never quite worked that way.
Oh, no. We're terribly they marketed the shit out of that game, though. I mean,
The commercials
Pokemon was a
for it,
hot new
yeah.
commodity. Yeah, the commercials were so good. Pokemon was a new thing. We didn't know how good it could be with, like, external, like, apparatus, like, microphone devices like that, or how it should have been, but it
I was
should have
so sold,
worked.
right? Like, I love Pokemon, the link cable's perfect, why won't this work? They've not done me wrong
Why
yet.
would this be bad? Why would they sell something that doesn't work?
Exactly. And it's like, it's so funny because it's like, I feel like that game was like, so who knows how much content is in it? It was impossible to progress, right? Like, I
Right.
so, like, who knows? It could be the most content-like game. I was like, "No kid can get through this. They'll just think they
Mhm.
suck. It's fine. Kids got a
Yeah.
short attention span." But, like, yeah, those were, I think, like, some of the gateway ones were definitely, like, the multiplayer stuff. I was, like, a big Mario Party fan. I had played that a lot at
Nice.
other people's houses and, like, Smash, obviously, and all that stuff. Like, we're definitely I think it was mostly the multiplayer stuff that drew me in aside from, like, once I got it, I played through Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time and Donkey Kong, and, like, some of those games. But, yeah, I feel like most of my memories with it are more, like, playing the multiplayer stuff, and, like, getting
Right.
into, like, you know, like, 4 people crowded around it, right? Like,
I
getting through a
know.
game of Mario Party or something like that.
I remember doing stuff like that for Smash, but that always as a kid, as a little baby kid, like, lost my attention span very quickly because like, I didn't know what I was doing, but I do remember the Hit the Targets game, that's a classic.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh,
And then what
yeah.
was what was the targets? And then it was like you had to jump on the platforms, but I don't remember what he called it.
Right, I don't remember what it's called, but I remember that too. It was just something to just hone your Smash skills, I guess,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, that's all I remember.
Oh my god, I wanna find what these other games were called because like, I can hear the "break the targets," like, in my
Yeah.
brain, and I'm sure whatever it is alright, let me see here. Oh, "Board the platforms" was the other one. "Board the
Ah, okay.
platforms." Yeah, I kinda remember that one. But
That's a
yeah.
good one.
Yeah, I it's funny because like, I played a lot of Smash. And like my friend and I played a ton of it even though we were both terrible. So I feel like it was like it worked out, because it's like nobody knows what we're doing. We're just getting in there. We're trying to use items, as much as possible and blow each other up with the bombs. And we would
Yeah.
like go into custom and like turn off, just be like just Pokeballs and stuff like that. I think you could do that in Smash 64. Definitely do that in Melee, but I don't remember if they'd let you control which items spawned. Now that I think about it.
Right? Like, I don't remember I mean, that was the first ever Smash game, like, that was the formative like, the very first. I just remember being stoked that Pikachu was in it, and I mean, everybody else too, like, that was it was a mix of characters from different
It's the
Nintendo
first, like, crossover thing I
IPs.
ever experienced, I would
Yeah,
think.
yeah. So, I
That
need
was
to go
a
back.
that commercial was another one that, like, is, like, burned in my memory. I remember,
Oh,
like,
the wrestling.
seeing. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and, like, it started with, like, "I can't see me loving nobody but you," right? And they were, like, all, like,
right.
dancing together in a field, and then they were, like, all jumped in the ring, and it was, like, a bunch of people in, like, theme park costumes. It was, like, very,
Yeah.
very ridiculous, and so
I don't
so
think
good,
they'd
though.
ever do something like that now. That I think that was, like, a result of just, like, very American advertising, like like the American folks being like, "We gotta do it like this."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, we talked about it on a recent episode, like, how weird and edgy, like, 90s and
Oh,
early
yes.
aughts, video game
Yeah.
marketing was, and because like, I remember the Kirby and the Crystal Shards, commercial really well too, where it was, like, Kirby was in, like, a pet show, and there was, like, a off camera, he ate a cat and dog type situation, and it
What the
was
oh my
like,
gosh.
"Well, it's a little dark."
Yeah. He didn't spit them back out and become a cat or a dog. He just ate
He
them.
just ate them. Yeah, just devoured them. They didn't have any powers for him to take?
Right, just dog or cat. I mean, like, claws? Bite? I don't know.
Depends. Depends on how big
Yeah.
the claws are? There are
Right,
those, like,
exactly.
vanilla normal monsters sometimes that he'll just eat, and it's like, "Nope, you're just murdered. You're just being absorbed into the endless eldritch god that is Kirby.
Yeah, yeah.
So any other games you want to shout out?
Paper Mario, which I did not play myself,
Oh,
but I would watch my sibling play. I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't, 'cause that I should have been able to play that one. That was within my wheelhouse of games I would, actually care about attempting, like, turn-based
yeah.
RPG.
Yeah, you
So,
do the
I don't know
turn-based
why,
thing.
but I will go back to it though. It was my intention to do that because it's such a fucking great game.
That's one I remember, like, the first time I experienced it was secondhand as well, and it was before I had my N64, and, like, my best friend, growing up, had an N64, and I had a PlayStation, and, he was playing through it, and I don't remember if he rented it or if he had, like, got it or whatever, but I remember he got that and Mario Tennis at the same time, and I remember that's another one I really love. Like, when they dropped the N64 games on NSO, I got weirdly sucked back into Mario Tennis for like a week or two. It was a good time. But I have like a distinct memory of like one summer where we were playing Mario Tennis and then switching off to play Paper Mario, and I was just like watching him play through it.
Aw.
Um, and yeah, just like such a like, and it's so easy now, but like I remember us being like, whoa, like we're getting to the next section, and like drinking in the
Yeah.
story and the comedy and everything. We were like so into it. I think I actually have his copy of it now, still to this day, and it's like got
Aw.
his name written on it in his second grade handwriting and everything.
Oh, memories. Oh my god. I'm big on holding on to things like that. I don't care if that makes me like a pack rat or a hoarder. Like,
No, you
I
should. I regret every old
yeah.
game that I got rid of for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it stinks because it's like not even just for like, "Oh, I could sell this for like fucking couple $100." It's like it is so trippy to hold something like that from your childhood and be
Yeah,
like everything floods back sometimes when you like look at something like that or like pop open a game file, etc. But they're just good things for grounding yourself.
yeah,
And
for sure.
yeah, yeah.
It's nice to
Hopefully you
take a
don't think
little walk down memory lane with that stuff.
yeah, you wanna be too careful. You don't wanna think you don't wanna teeter on like, thinking about your mortality.
Yeah.
Like,
You wanna
it
look
can
back
it
in a
can
good
go
way,
there, but
right?
yeah.
Yeah, like
For sure.
I've got this is a thing I've shown off on this show before, but like I have this it's like a hand sewn N64 case and it's got my N64 inside. And it's
That is
like
beautiful.
this is like nice and stitched on and everything. It's like very cool. And this was actually my I could say his name. He won't get upset. It's Jimmy. Is his name, was my childhood best friend. And
Aw,
we're still buds today. But yeah, he gave me that case and a couple of his old games for my collection.
nice.
For like a birthday or something like that at one point.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's like one of my favorite things in my collection because it's like an official item, but like it's a super like random case that I'm sure they did one run of. It's like super nice, it's a very nice quality.
I was gonna say something like that for the Switch would be so nice.
I
Like,
know.
that looks like it looks like a backpack, but also looks like a case, and everything for the Switch is very backpack.
Yeah, it's like it's got that like nice like the whole thing is like hand sewn and it's like more cloth. It's not like as
Yeah,
plasticky, as like the
right,
base Switch case is like that really thin, like kind of like rubber, and it doesn't have as much like heft to it. This is like feels like a safe thing to put your console in.
right. Like, you could
And
travel with it.
it had like a nice little slot in the back for like games. You got a spot for your controllers too. Like very nice.
Nice.
Very nice.
Hell yeah.
So any other games we want to shout out? Or are you ready to take on the N64 top 10 trivia challenge?
I'm ready for the trivia.
All right. Well, before
Let's
we
go.
get into this hot new game, I'm going to let you guys know that this episode of Nintendo Noise is brought to you by our Patreon producers for the month of October. They are, of course, Arnold J. Rimmer, Christopher Valens, Earth Visitor, Gabriel Hausmeyer, aka Asobi, Pilkey, Snackigo, Ty the Dude, and Wakahula. Thank you all so much for your support over on patreon.com/flipscreengames. You're all the reals to the real, and we greatly appreciate your support of this and all of our sister shows. If you want to go and show your support just like they did, if you want to go check out some of those sister shows, or if you just want to come and join the community and keep the conversation rolling between episodes, you can find links to do all that and much, much more over on flipscreen.games. That's our website where you will be able to find all the places you can get involved or show your support, however you choose to do so. We thank you for tuning in for another episode of Nintendo Noise. All right, let's get into it, Sierra. I am debuting this new game, which is tentatively called Top 10 Trivia Challenge. If you guys got a better name, remember, hit me up over in the Discord, or if you want to DM me, however you want to get in touch, hit me up with your names for this segment, because I'm down for something funkier. It's a little matter of, I was busy coming up with rules. I didn't have time to workshop names. So you do
Right,
the heavy lifting on
exactly.
that one, gang. Okay, so here's what we got. This is my beta test for this new game. So, if we have any suggestions for the rules too, feel free to hit me with them. This is definitely a game I'd like to play again on the show. But I think I've got a good framework for us here. So, what we're doing today is I've gone and pulled the top 10 N64 games according to Metacritic, right? And Sierra is going to be charged with trying to identify all 10 of them. And originally, my plan was Steve was going to be on the show as well. And I was going to give them 10 minutes. So that would be a game a minute, more or less, right? But since Sierra's flying solo, I'm going to bump it up to 15 minutes and give you a little extra time. And basically, what you're going to have to do is there's as many guesses as you want, right? There's no penalty for wrong guesses, but you have to get all 10 of those games in that 15 minutes. And each correct answer is going to be worth 10 points. You do have a couple tools at your disposal to try and help you narrow down the answers if you are struggling, right? There is 10 clues that I can give you, right? So that's basically one clue per game. And every time that you get a clue, that answer will then become worth half of those points. So then, right, if you were to take all 10 clues, your max score would be 50 points. So ideally, you kind of want to try to save those until you're able to get all the stuff you can get on your own, right? And then start pulling those near the end, right? If we get down to the last couple minutes and you want to throw some Hail Marys and try to get a few more points on the board, that's probably when you want to lean into those. But before that, you have today we're gonna start with this number, and I'm open to changing it around, but we're gonna start with 30 yes or no questions. So you can ask as many of those as you want, and you can use those to kind of narrow down what games may or may not be on the list, right? Or to try to weed out certain things so that you can not worry about jumping in that thought direction, right? So, like, you could ask questions like, is there a Mario game on the list, right? I wouldn't recommend that question for one of your 30, but you could ask that question.
Is
Uh,
there?
Anything that I can answer with a yes or no question is fair game. So, you'll have 30 of those at your disposal. There's no penalty for using them, but once they're used up, they're used up. So, are you ready? Do you have any questions about the rules before we begin?
So, yes or no is free, and then clue is half points.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm
And
ready.
a clue, I'll give you a pointed clue that will hopefully, get you closer to the. So, for example, right, I have an example clue for you. Uh, Say that the answer were Pokemon Puzzle League. So that's a free one for you. That's not in the top 10. Uh, I might say a potential clue for that could be this puzzle game was a spin-off of a popular franchise that originated on the Game Boy. So,
Okay,
hopefully that'll help narrow it down, right? And I'll
all
try to
right,
give you as good a clue as possible without spoiling the answer itself.
right, and that is fair.
And that's where you're going to get into the half points. But because they are half points, they should be pretty good clues. I'm going to try to steer you to the answer as much as I can.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I got nothing to lose. Let's do it.
Yeah, you got nothing to lose. There's nothing on the line, right? That's I think a fun thing about this game. A lot of our games are head to head. The difference here, of course, being this is more for the leaderboard, right? Like if you get to be the first 100%, that's bragging rights forever.
Yeah.
So do what you can. I have faith in you. And let's start now. We're gonna put 15 minutes on the clock. I've got the timer here on my phone, and I will be our timekeeper, of course. I'll give you check-ins every 5 minutes.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Let's begin.
All right.
Guess
So, are we
away.
going 10 to 1?
There's 10, but you don't have to guess them in order. I should have said that.
Great. Okay.
So you can just guess.
Um, Ocarina of Time.
That is the number one game on the list. That's 10 points for you. Off
Yay!
to a great
Okay.
start.
Beautiful.
Keeping that realm, right? What else is another slam dunk? What's going to be on that list?
GoldenEye?
GoldenEye is number 3. That's 20 points on the board.
Okay.
See, you're off to a good start. No pressure.
I know. I doubted myself so heavily when you were explaining this to me, but
You got it. You got it.
the tank is running out.
Don't worry. Don't worry. You got plenty of time. You got plenty of guesses. You got plenty of questions. You got plenty of clues. Take your time. Ruminate. So far, we got number 1, Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. That's got a 99
Wow.
Metascore on Metacritic, one of the highest rated games of all time. We've got number 3, GoldenEye 007 with a Metascore of 96. And of course, that means there's 20 points on the board for Sierra. We've got that means there are 8 games left on our top 10 in the top 10 trivia challenge. Feel free to cut me off
Is
whenever you got an answer.
all right. Is one of them a Pokemon game?
All right, you're going to ask your first question. Is one of these a
Yes.
Pokemon game? No, there is not a Pokemon game on the top 10.
Thank you. Okay, that narrows out a lot of the games that I know.
Hey, but just other ones. Don't panic here. You got other ones.
I
We
forgot
just
to
talked. We
ask,
just
just
talked about plenty of
establishing,
games.
can I look at a list of games or is that cheating?
That's cheating.
Okay, noted.
No
Pete
outside help aside from your remaining 29 yes or no questions.
okay, honor system, I promise I'm not yet. Hands are right here, I'm not typing shit. Um,
I believe in you. You're a competitor with honor, not like Steve. I don't think you would cheat.
oh my god. Steve Catching Strays not even on the show this week.
That's because he's a cheater. He'd do it to me if I wasn't here. He'd be calling me all kinds of names. I know it. So we got Legend of Zelda, right? That's November 23rd, 1998. We got
Right.
GoldenEye 007, August 25th, 1997. What else we got? What think about what franchises haven't you hit yet?
Star
Y-
Fox
Star Fox
64.
64 is not on the list.
Fuck. Okay.
And I feel confident saying that there's no other Star Fox game, so I can give you the full title on that
All
one.
right. Uh, imagine if my yes or no question was like, "Are there a lot of Mario games?"
Well, you haven't guessed
uh,
any Mario games yet. You got any in mind?
I know. Paper Mario?
Paper Mario is number 6 on the list. That's
All
30
right.
points. So that's February 5th, 2001, Paper Mario. Rated E for everyone. 93 Metascore.
Okay.
A classic.
Harvest Moon.
Harvest Moon is not on the list. I'll tell you
Ah.
what, though, Star Fox 64, number 23 on the list.
Oh, okay, cool.
Harvest Moon, I think it's on the next page, not in the top 25.
Damn. F for them.
So far you got Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, number 1. Number 3, GoldenEye 007. Number 6, Paper Mario. 30 points on the board. What else you got?
Super Mario 64.
Super Mario 64 is number 5 on the list with a Metascore of
Okay.
94, September 26th, 1996. The pack-in
Donkey Kong
game.
Country?
Donkey Kong Country 64, not on the list.
Okay.
It is number 17
Okay.
with a Metascore of 90.
Mario Tennis.
Mario Tennis is not on the list.
Not me naming all the games we talked about earlier.
Number 12 with a Metascore of 91.
Okay.
And you have 10 minutes on the board.
Thanks. Shit.
Don't forget you got questions.
I know.
You
I'm
still got
trying. I'm
20.
using up all of the titles I know before I start using my tools.
You got your 29 questions though, yes or no, right? So you can
Right.
lob a couple of those out. Won't hurt you at all.
All right. Here I'm gonna go with my strat. Okay. So, uh is Smash on the list? Smash 64.
No.
Okay.
Some of them, I'm surprised. I'm surprised it's not even in the top 25.
Right. Right.
Still finding the sound on that one, you know. So far, you've
Um
got Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, number 1, GoldenEye 007, number 3, Super Mario 64 at number 5, Paper Mario at number 6. So that means there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games left on the list. And you got
is there an
40
F-Zero
points.
game on there?
There is not an F-Zero game on there.
Oh, damn. Um is there a Kirby game on there?
No.
Okay.
That puts you at 27 questions.
There's no Kirby. There's no F-Zero. There's no Pokemon.
It's time to start running through that Smash
Hmm.
roster.
Uh, is there a Yoshi game on there?
No.
Shit. And no Donkey Kong. Shit.
No Donkey Kong. Number 17.
How many of the games left are RPGs?
That's not a yes or no question.
Fuck. Oh no. Oh
Hey,
my
don't panic. You
god.
got time. 7 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock.
I know, but my noggin has
You're only halfway
we've
through.
reached the bottom of the reserves of my childhood
Don't
and
worry.
N64
Ask
memory.
ask some questions.
Hmm.
You got 27 of them.
Is one of them a fighting game that's not Smash?
No.
Okay. Are the rest like platformers?
No.
Really?
There are
Okay.
platformers on the list, but the rest of them are not platformers.
Enough. So they're all action adventure?
Like I said, there are some platformers on the list. You asked if the rest of them were platformers. The
Oh, the
rest of them are
rest of them.
not
Okay.
platformers. So it's not
Okay, I
every
see.
game remaining is not a platformer, but there are some platformers on the list.
Shit.
You wanna ask for a clue?
Oh yeah, I think it's clue time.
Think it's clue time?
Yeah. Yeah.
You got 6 minutes left on the clock, so I think it's getting to clue time.
Yeah.
Okay, so we want to bust for one clue. Okay, let me give you a good one. Okay, I'll give you a clue. Here, one game left on the list is a Mario game, and I'll leave it at that. It's so
Uh,
funny. I was just talking about this with Sarah earlier about how once there's a timer going, like the stuff just goes from your brain. You know, I
not
was doing
just
a
that.
trying to name all 151 Pokemon thing the other day, and was like,
Oh, that would make me so mad. Oh my
it's like I
god.
know it, right? But it's like once you're on the clock, it's tough. So think
Okay.
about it. So there's Mario game. What Mario games haven't you mentioned? You hit Super Mario 64 and Paper Mario for 10 points each. What else we got?
Mario Party?
Mario Party is not on the list.
Fuck.
Good guess though. You're in the right vein. Keep moving.
Oh god, what other if Steve was here, he would probably know it.
Think about
Uh,
think about what other things Mario might be doing. What's he getting
uh,
up to when he's not platforming around?
well, he's not fighting, and he's not playing tennis. He's a multifaceted man.
He is.
Yeah. I've never seen him plumb once. He jumps through the pipes, but
That's the pipes, yeah. He's fixing them in that time you don't see him.
he's fixing them by way of centrifugal force with his body. Fuck. Uh, dude, I, genuinely don't know. Can I get a clue for another game, please?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So, okay, here's a good one. Uh, there is another, you know what? I'll say this. Uh, there is another game in the Legend of Zelda franchise on the list.
Finish cap is N64?
That's Game Boy Advance.
Fuck! I'm outing myself. Um, Link's Awakening?
Game Boy.
Fuck!
You're getting closer though in timeline. Well, actually, Minish Cap might be closer year wise. Don't get too stuck on it if you don't if it's not coming to you. You got 3 minutes on the clock.
Alright, let's do another clue.
Okay. Hmm. There is a game starring a character who is a DLC character in the latest Smash game. Think about one of the other questions you asked before.
Banjo-Kazooie?
Banjo Kazooie is number 9.
Oh, wow, okay.
So
Does
that'll
that
be
mean
half.
Crash is Crash on there?
No, PlayStation exclusive.
Damn. Damn.
Banjo Kazooie Metascore of 92. 1998.
Nice. Okay.
So that's 5 points.
Alright.
So that means you still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games on the list. 2 minutes on the clock.
There's a Zelda game, and there's a Mario game that I don't know the names of. Uh, can I get another clue, please?
Yes. Hmm.
Any
Okay.
clue for any game?
Yeah, okay. There is a game on this list. It is a it is one of the platformers I mentioned, and it is an M-rated game made by Rare.
Gex?
Sorry?
Is it Gex?
No.
Is it oh, fuck. I should know this. It's on the tip of my tongue. I'm gonna be so mad when you tell me what it is. Uh, uh, is the animal a mammal?
Yes.
Fuck. Is it a raccoon?
No, but you're really close.
Oh, Pete, this is suffering. I'm sad. Oh my god. It's a mammal, and it's not a raccoon, and it's not Crash, and it's not Gex. Oh
30
my
seconds on the clock.
I've seen this fucker in my dreams. Oh my I see him in the back of my head right now. He's sitting there with the hat, man. Oh my god. I'm gonna be so mad. 30 seconds till I'm the maddest I've ever been.
15 seconds on the clock.
No, I don't
10, 9,
9,
8,
8,
7, 6,
oh
5, 4,
god.
3, 2, 1. And that is the
Wow.
end of the round. our first game of top 10 trivia, something, whatever I called it before.
Yeah,
You did
I don't
good, Sierra.
remember.
You did pretty good. You got, let's see. So you got number one, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, 10 points. Solid start. Number two on the list. And I think I realized technically my last clue was for two games on the list, but that's a freebie.
Oh,
Number two was Perfect Dark.
I wouldn't have known that one.
That's a
That's
M-rated
so
rare game shooter.
shameful.
No, no shame. Look, you played different games. That's fine. Number
Yeah,
three. I never played that one either. I mean, I've literally played it, but I never. It was never a game I played at all. I played it maybe one time at a friend's house when they rented it. You know.
right.
Number three, GoldenEye 007. You got that one. 10 points. That's 20 points on the board. Number four. This was one of the games you got a clue for. It was The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Was the
Fuck!
answer. That was the second Zelda game on the console. Number four.
I
Metascore of 95. Pretty good.
yeah.
Number five was Super Mario 64. You got that one, 10 points. Number six, Paper Mario, another 10 points, bringing you up to 40 points. So number seven, this is one of the ones you got a clue for, and it was not a raccoon, it was a squirrel, and his name is Conker. Conker's Bad
Fuck!
Fur Day
Conker's back.
was number seven.
Ah,
And that was the other M-rated rare game. That was the one that was the clue I was trying to give you.
right.
That was the other platformer. That was the last platformer on the list. Number eight, this is one I did not think that you would guess because it is a game I forget exists all the time. And I imagine most people feel the same way, but maybe people are going to come at me like the time I said people didn't care about Killzone, I bet, with this one. Wave Race 64.
Damn it! Oh my god!
That's 92 on Metacritic, 1996. And then Conker's was 92 as well,
Wow.
2001. So both of those, of course, no luck. Number nine was Banjo Kazooie. That was one that you got with a clue, right? Which is, of course, that there was a DLC Smash character. So that's worth 5 points. So that's going to bring you up
Right.
to what, 45 points, right? Yeah, correct. And then finally, we got, wait, is that right? 10, 20, 30, 40, 45. Yeah, all right, I'm right. No
Yeah.
problem. See, this is the first time. We're working out the kinks. Number
Yeah.
10, and this was another one you got a clue for. Mario Golf was the
Fuck!
answer. 1999 Metascore of 91.
It was the one sport I was not thinking of,
I
and I
was
should have been.
so I was so afraid that you
Wow.
were gonna finally get to Mario Kart, and I was gonna be like, "That's not even the one." Like you're gonna be sitting there and be like,
That is how
"Mario
oh
Kart."
my god, that's right, Mario Kart. Wow. Didn't even that one didn't even cross my mind for whatever goddamn reason.
I'm
Well,
telling you, once the clock is on, it really hits different. And it's like
yeah.
everybody when you listen to a game like this on a podcast, you're like, "Oh, I got it. No pressure, right? Like no problem." Yeah, cuz you're not in the hot seat. You're not sitting there with the
Yeah.
timer waiting. I've sat there and not been able to think of Cubone and Marowak, okay? I've had that moment, you know? And it's not so nice. So,
No.
but you did good. 45 points. That's you got half the games on the list. That's not bad.
Okay,
You
cool.
know?
I'll take it.
I'll take it, you know, for the seminal contestant, you know?
Yes. Happy to help, happy to be a part of it.
This historic moment. Yeah, of course. You made
Yes.
Nintendo nice history here. So I think technically that makes you the first intercontinental champion of the top 10 trivia
For
game.
now.
So
Yeah.
we'll have to get you a trophy made because there's nothing I love more than rubbing trophies in Steve's face. I'll tell you what.
I love
It's a good
trophies.
it's a good feeling.
Yeah.
So, there you go. That's the new game. Top 10 trivia showdown. I don't know. I keep calling it a different thing, I think. I don't know. Y'all let me know if you got a fun name for it, if you got any adjustments to the rules. Maybe we'll make it a head-to-head thing. I kind of like it as a scoreboard deal, but you know, that lets people collaborate when we got more than one person on the show. But you let us know what you think, and we'll figure out how to make this even more of a nightmare for the person in the hot seat and more of a joy for you, the listener. I hope you enjoyed
Yes.
it. So we're gonna wrap up this birthday party here, Sierra. Any final words for our guest of honor, the Nintendo 64?
Oh, man. Baby's first console. I have a lot of happy memories of the N64. I remember my childhood being so good because of gaming and, like, not being made miserable knowing how how, like, vast and insane gaming would become, and just having that simple experience with the CRT, just plugging in, like, blowing on a cartridge and, like, plopping
Yeah.
that down, and God, there's just nothing like that anymore, but maybe it's good that that we'll never experience that again. That's, like, and maybe, like, you know, that's just a thing that is, like, a nostalgic, like, heartwarming, memorable thing to our generation, and I'm glad I was around for it. I'm glad I could say, like, I experienced that era of gaming. Um,
We were kind of the last generation that, like, had that, like, more analog experience where, like,
yeah.
you could not know about a game,
Right.
where it's like, I mean, that's literally possible now, right? But, like, there's so much more media about games, whereas, like, when we were coming up, like, if you didn't have, like, a subscription to a gaming magazine or something, like, there was no way for you to go and be like, "What games are coming out on the N64?" Right? Like,
Right.
you went to the store and you saw what you saw and you got what you got, and, you know, like, everybody had a totally different curated collection because it was just kind of like, maybe you have an older sibling that plays games, maybe you have a relative that knows about it or whatever. Otherwise, it's kinda like you're just rolling the dice and seeing what you get, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So much more wonder. Like, you couldn't just much more room to, like, jump in completely clueless, whereas now you are spoiled with a wealth of and a barrage even of information.
Totally. Yeah, and, like, you can see so much more of a game before you play it, right? Where it's like,
Yeah,
there was that sense before of, like, I'm waiting for a game and all I've seen is the ad, or all I've seen is a picture of it in a magazine, or, like, in
yeah.
a Toys R Us catalog or whatever, right? And
Or when you go to Toys R Us and they have, like, the N64 station where the controllers are screwed into the display, and you could stand there and play Pokemon or Mario Kart, what have you, in the store. And that was how you could, like, experience demos and stuff, or just games in general before you buy them. Man.
yeah, it was a time. It was definitely a time.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, something I definitely, like, am still so nostalgic for is, like, that feeling of going to the video store and, like, renting a game at Blockbuster for the weekend, and
Yes.
that was such a thing. Like, I remember, like, renting Rampage during, like, a weekend in the summer and, like, "Alright,
Yeah.
we got this game, we're gonna go to the pool, and then when we get out, we'll play this game, and we'll watch this movie that we got," and it's, like, such a such a vibe, and there
Such
was
a
a
simple
ritual to it
time.
that was very, very cool, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like we're like, we're like spoiled, I think, by, like, it's like it's an embarrassment of riches now, right? Where there's so much choice and so much quality entertainment that, like, the scarcity of things, I think, made them feel more special, because it was like every new game was an event. It was like in a moment in
Yeah,
time, and it wasn't like the next one wasn't right around the corner. This was the last new game you were getting for
right,
months, right? And, like, not even necessarily just because, you know, your parents wouldn't buy you another one as much as, like, there might not be another hot game out, like,
right, exactly. Like, indies, like, weren't as prevalent back then,
they
I
didn't
would
even
say.
exist, right? In a
Yeah,
lot of cases, it's like there were independent studios, but not like the breadth
right,
of them that we have now.
exactly.
Distribution was
So,
so different.
yeah, it wasn't just a kid thing, it was just, like, things really were more special.
Yeah, and it's
Well,
like, it's like I think it's like it's a good and bad thing, right? Because it's like,
yeah,
obviously it's great that you have so many more experiences now, and there's like less gatekeepers between putting your game out and, like, becoming the next indie darling or something like that, and, like,
right.
that's obviously great. Like, it's been great to see the medium grow, but I definitely do get nostalgic, I think, sometimes for that
Yeah,
scarcity and that time, for sure.
me too.
So thanks for walking down memory lane with us today, dear listener. I hope it was a good birthday party for you, N64.
Yeah.
See, you don't look a day over 27.
27. Whew,
Tough year,
crazy.
right? I promise your 30s are better, N64.
Yeah, once you're over that hump, you don't even think about it most days.
All right. Well, we will leave it there for today. Thank you guys for joining us on another episode of Nintendo Noise. Remember, if you want to send in your well wishes for the N64, if you want to write in and talk to us about this or any other episode of Nintendo Noise, there are a bunch of ways you can get involved, and you can find all of them at flipscreen.games. That's our website where you will find links to our Discord, our Patreon, if you want to go above and beyond and keep these mics and lights hot. Or if you want to head over and write into the show, there's a bunch of ways that you can do it over there. We got our email address, we got our Discord, keep the conversation rolling between episodes. Bunch of ways for you to get involved. However you choose to tune in, show your support, or get involved with the community. We thank you for joining us for another episode of Nintendo Noise. For the crew, I've been Pete. She's been Sierra. We'll see you next week.